following is a podcast from thefinalsprint.com, the internet's premier running, fitness, and nutrition publication. Start here, finish strong.
Hi, I'm joined with Don Kern, founder and race director for Grand Rapids Marathon, who also at this year's Boston Marathon will be celebrating his 50th consecutive month of running a race of marathon distance or longer. Hey Don, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good, good. Well, congratulations again on your around-the-world trek. Under 35 days, 7 continents. Still tired from that at all?
Well, I'm not tired from the around the world trek. In fact, I came back from that pretty well invigorated. In spite of the fact I ran a lot of marathons, I had a lot of down days. So I was getting the rest I needed and was feeling really good. And I came home to the airport, of course, with all my friends, just excited to see me. I have a beautiful girlfriend, and she had arranged quite a bit of publicity there in the local thing, and had a bunch of my friends there and had t-shirts printed up and the whole bit. So that was an exciting time just to come home to.
I'm sure, yeah. A little hero's welcome when you get back.
It was cool. You know, my granddaughter's there and all that kind of stuff, so that was nice.
I'm sure. No, that's phenomenal. Very jealous. I wish I could do that. So when did this little marathon streak start? And when you started it, did you intend it to be this type of consistency, or it just happens you love running, so this is the way it worked out?
Well, I've had a couple of streaks going actually since I started. I ran 19 months in a row one time, and then I kind of, once in a while, I'd back off. I couldn't find a month where I wanted to actually do one, or one that really appealed to me. But yeah, a little over 4 years ago, I decided I'm just going to start the streak up again, and after about a year, I was still going, and so I'm just going to keep it active. So sometimes I go to, you know, as far away as Indiana to run a marathon or something where it's not very far from home, and I'm just doing it kind of as a formality to keep the streak alive. But, you know, I'm 50 months in a row now. I'm not going to goof it up. I'm just going to keep going.
That's pretty good. You're like the Cal Ripken Jr. of running here, the little Ironman streak. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm getting compared to a pretty elite athlete there. But
it's true, but then again, you know, he may have played baseball against 4 hours, but he's never been moving for that long. We'll have to ask him how it compares. Actually, he's from Indiana. Maybe he'll run a race with you.
There you go.
Sure. So during this whole time, have you never, you know, been injured or wanted to take a month off? Has there ever, you know, you run through an injury just so that you can keep the streak alive?
I've really been lucky on injuries. I haven't, and the worst thing that ever happened to me was at mile 1 in Anchorage. I nailed my ankle at 1 mile into it before we even went onto the trail. I mean, it was on solid pavement, and I don't know what I was looking at a girl or doing something, I don't know. And I just rolled my ankle, and that's the worst injury I've had, but I kept going anyway because I was in Alaska. What was I going to do? It was going to hurt whether I stopped or ran, so I took my Tylenol that I had in my pocket and kept going for the rest of the time.
Sure, it's good advice. Definitely, you know, don't look at other girls while you're running, especially when your girlfriend's in the room during your interview.
Yeah, there you go.
It's pretty amazing, though, that you've never had more of an injury than just that, you know, in 4.5 years.
Yeah, I'm just lucky. I don't beat myself up. I mean, I run a steady pace, but I'm not real fast. And, you know, there's a lot of guys that run a lot of marathons that do what I do. I mean, they run a slower pace because they can endure, and they're doing it for the adventure and for the travel and for all the great people you meet out on the courses and out on the roads all the time.
Sure, sure. So among, you know, all of these races, which has been your favorite? Any that really stand out in your mind, or any really cool experiences since you've done so many?
Well, the experiences tend to be more in the trip than the race itself. But, you know, I've seen some beautiful, beautiful places. And, you know, some of the things that stand out, like Estes Park, Colorado, where we're, you know, at the highest elevation paved marathon in the world. But there's no oxygen. But the scenery in the Rocky Mountains is just beautiful, though. And then, you know, going out to Big Sur and running along the Pacific coast, and out to Bar Harbor, Maine, and running along the Atlantic coast. And it's amazing, the variety, and there's beauty all over the place, and there's always interesting things going on. Race directors are doing all kinds of different things, and I'm getting to learn things from them as well. And, you know, they've all got their own character to them. I like the little tiny ones. I like the great big ones.
Sure, yeah. Sometimes the small ones definitely are fun. You get to kind of feel a little more of that family vibe among all the people doing it and the event planners. But those sound beautiful when you could, of course, be breathing in Colorado. I'm sure that race was pretty enjoyable. So how do you train if you're always doing a race? You know, a lot of people, they got this big build-up, you know, and it sounds like you never have time to taper or anything like that.
Well, actually, I'm always tapering. You know, I run my 26-mile long run, and then I wait until the next one. But as a general rule, I try to get at least 35 miles a weekend, or at least average 35 miles a week. So, you know, I run 3 or 4 times during the week, run a couple long runs on the weekend with a bunch of friends, and just go out there once a month someplace and do a marathon and get my super long run in.
Because it's become like a pretty expensive hobby for you too.
You know, it really isn't.
Really?
If you compare, compare it to smoking cigarettes or owning a boat, you know, running really isn't very expensive. You can go to any place in the United States virtually for $500 for a weekend.
Sure.
And, you know, so that's not really that much money. You know, and a lot of them are cheaper than that. If I drive to, like I said, if I drive to Indiana or one of the marathons in Michigan, you know, it's going to cost me $200. And so it's not that expensive of a hobby. I mean, some of my long distance around the world stuff gets a little expensive, but, you know, compare that to what it costs you if you go through life and don't do outstanding things like that.
Well, I'm with you on that for sure. And I guess when you compare, especially some of the local races, the cost of just going out to an expensive restaurant and, you know, doing a few other activities during the weekend, I guess it doesn't turn out to be that much more, and you do improve your health this way, which is pretty good. What do you think you've picked up along the way that's helped you with planning the Grand Rapids Marathon?
Well, that's the great thing I think the thing I picked up along the way that helped me the most with the Grand Rapids Marathon is the friends. Because
lots of connections.
I've got a staff of marathon runners, and they are some of the most outstanding. I mean, they're goal-oriented, they're smart, they know what they want to accomplish. And when we even talked about putting a marathon on in Grand Rapids, you know, all of a sudden the ideas are coming in from everywhere and from every direction, and the guys I run with, you know, want to organize the pace team and want to organize the volunteers, and, you know, another guy helps with the course, and, you know, so these people that I run with on a regular basis. And then I run into a guy in a coffee shop, and he overhears me talking to somebody on the phone. He says, "Did you say something about a marathon in Grand Rapids?" And I said, "Well, yeah." He says, "Hey, how do we get involved with that?" And you know, he's become not only one of my best friends, but really been a great asset to me in bringing other people in and helping me get it going. So it's amazing how it's one of those things, you throw it up in the air, it turns into sunshine.
Sure. Well, I mean, you know, running is just really taking off. I mean, it's already the biggest, you know, most popular activity in America, and it's been really picking up steam every year.